Okay, we're live. Hi, I'm Glenn, City Badland Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube. And this round, we had a question concerning that last video we posted and some idea on, let me see, let me make sure I got this right. Let me grab the note here and get the comment. I'll have it here shortly. Okay, it's from Axel. Thinking of heading up there tomorrow morning. Any tips for catching them with a spinning setup? Any good spots? Thanks. All right, and there's a lot of ways to answer that question, so I figured I'd just do a real quick live stream to answer it. So, any tips for catching them with a spinning setup? So, first thing with spinning setup, make sure you have the appropriate gear. I would say line size 4-pound, 6-pound test is what I typically use from a spinning standpoint. In fact, here's the setup I'm using. This is a 7-foot rod, 4-pound test, and I like using this, or at least my fishing buddy likes using this one for fishing stalker trout. And then from a lure standpoint, I grabbed some over here. Bear with me. Let's see. This is one that I keep handy. And in here, you'll see super dupers in gold, copper, as well as rainbow trout and silver. And I tend to keep all of them available. From a size standpoint, you have the 502 and the 503. 502 is the larger of the two. The 503 is the smaller of the two. And I don't know what the weight is offhand, but it's probably 1/16 ounce or so. Rooster tails, I like having those right here, typically in white, chartreuse, as well as black. One good one that I like keeping handy is the fire tail or fire tiger with a gold blade and these little chartreuse deals. And then on top of that, you can bring Castmasters or little Cleos, but there is, let's see if I can grab it here. This is one that I picked up at Scotty's last year, Scotty's One Stop, and I'm trying to grab it here, bear with me. It's an old school lure, and when they were wanting some copper coloring items, they were hitting this one also. And this one I picked up at Scotty's. It's called a Phoebe. Looks like a bent fish right here. There is Phoebe, Phoebe, right? And then I also bring some inline spinners, Panther Martins. Grab it right here. This is one on my ultralight bait casting setup, BFS gear, and it's a Panther Martin inline spinner. This as well as the rooster tail, those all can be fished slow. And then additionally, when we're talking the super duper, I'll start out with gold and copper initially and see what it's like. Then I'll switch over to silver. Also, there was a black one that I picked up at Scotty's that worked really well one year. And then here's that rainbow trout one buried in here. It's all a mess. When I fish these, 4-pound, 6-pound test, mono, and it comes with a little clasp or snap right there, and I'll tie directly to the snap. I don't add a swivel or anything, because the main thing is there's a wobble motion that it makes when you're casting it right, or when you're retrieving it right. Other thing is let it sink, do a countdown retrieve, start out with like 4 or 6, and then just slowly retrieve in. After a while, you'll get a feel for what the pattern is for that particular day. Lately, because of the temperatures being so cold, They didn't want as fast a retrieve as I've seen in the past. So that's my suggestion. When it comes with spinning gear or ultralight bait casting, for those that like to do the bait finesse system style. Light lures, ultralight 1/16 ounce, the rooster tails, the Mepps Anglia, those work really good too. But basically inline spinners and the super duper, those tend to be the go-to ones that I've used over the years. I've got some other videos that you can see how the different retrieves I'll use. Just do a quick search. You can put in super duper COAF and it'll pop up with these different videos that I have posted in the past. The count drown retrieve, that's another key thing. But other than that, it's then the location that you're trying to fish. And so it says any good spots. Oh, let me check something real quick. If y'all have any questions. Oh, here we go. Vitel. What fly should I try tomorrow? Is there anything I should tie today? Do you recommend Steve Book? Do you recommend super dupers? And then Axel saying hello. Okay, let's say hi. Hi Axel. Thanks for the questions. That was awesome. I've got some time right now, so I'm able to do these quick live streams. Vitel, what fly should I try tomorrow? Is there anything I should tie today? I always start out with an olive near deer, basically a woolly bugger, and a mott fly, and additionally the producer. If you look online and look at Flat Out Fishing, he's got some really good information on how to tie the producer. In fact, that was really the go-to lure that I saw from another individual who was fishing across the river from me. He was doing really well with that producer. Do you recommend super dupers? Yes, I do. 502, 503 size. You can pick them up at Scotty's as well. Talk to Jason to see what particular one they're hitting for that particular day. Let's see. I think that answered those questions. If you have any more, keep watching the comments here so I can take a look at them. But let me get back to Axel's question on any locations. So let me shift over to our friend Google Earth right here. Okay, so this is Hughes Crossing, and let me scroll down and get you a better view. So just to describe what I did that day yesterday, I went to Hughes Crossing. I didn't think it was going to be too busy, and luckily it wasn't when I got there at first light. So coming into the parking area right over here, I'll start out walking the low water crossing, and I've got my polarized glasses, and I'm looking in the water, looking for shadows, the fish, the trout, whatever. From a spinning gear standpoint, I've usually done really well just casting downriver from the crossing and catching them there. Additionally, all along this section here, there seemed to be some really good action yesterday. This area in particular, let me see if I can get you a little bit closer. All right, so I was fishing over here under this overhang, right underneath here, casting into this area here, parallel to the bank. It's clobbered, so your back cast. So I was using a water load and taking advantage of a shooting head to get my fly over here, parallel to the river, and just letting it drift down. It was freezing temperatures. Our rod guides were getting frozen, so 20-30 seconds of just a slow drift, dead drift, and I was getting hits that way, giving no action to the fly at all. 4 foot under the indicator. I possibly would have went deeper also, but it seemed to work well at 4. When I was at 3 foot, I had a few hits, but definitely got more hits when I was at 4 foot on the indicator. So thinking of super dupers and thinking of spinning gear setup, I would probably do, if starting out early in the morning, cold temps, I would probably start out with maybe a 5-6 count retrieve. So cast the lure out, count to 6, then start doing the retrieve in, and then standing by for any hits, and then making any adjustments from there. So that was early morning when it's colder. What I did hear, and I was listening to Tom Rosenbauer's podcast. It's sponsored by Orvis. He was talking about how just a simple temperature change from the morning to the eve or to the throughout the day can trigger the bite. And so it started out in the 30s in the morning, and it got into the higher 30s or lower 40s. And I did notice that there was some additional or more action for some of the folks that were working the river. Where it seemed to be where most of the action was happening, at least in the Hughes Crossing area, along this area upriver. This area here, typically just right north of the low water crossing, typically has some good action. But when I went over there this last time with my polarized glasses, I did not see anything other than onesie twosies. And that's why I went ahead and moved up a little bit further upriver. And so as soon as I saw that there was some activity, fish were actually feeding on a hatch that was happening, that's where I opted to fish. And then back over here later in the day, let me see if I can move this over. Right over here by the crossing, if you stand on the rocks and you look right where the bubble line is and where the white water is, and you got your polarized glasses, you'll see those trout coming in and out of the current. Typically, I'll do it's like the dry fly, not dry fly, but a indicator 3-4 foot under, and kind of drift it through that area and get some hits there. Other times, especially with spinning gear, just casting downriver and then making that retrieve back up. Usually I was getting some hits that way as well. Let's see. Is there a best day of the week to fish? It's from Steve Book. What I find is usually the day of, if not the day after they stock, is probably the best day. I think they stock Tuesday, Wednesdays, but it can vary. A good rule of thumb when you check in over there at Scotty's, just ask, did they stock today or when did they last stock? And that'll give you an idea. But this past week they stocked, I believe it was Wednesday, and I had no issues with seeing trout. It was more, I believe, just the cold temperatures where they were more lethargic and not really active until later. But I did notice as the day progressed, the fly fishermen that were over here on the sandbar. Let me drive down here. Okay. So this is the island right here, and it's smaller now since it got washed away some, but you'll notice a sandbar here. All right, there's several ways to get through. Yesterday I had some folks come behind me and get through there. They had their chest waders on. Additionally, I've seen some other folks that you'll see the well-worn trail coming in. Just look for where the enters the water and just plan to go walk across onto that sandbar. It'll come up past your waist, possibly up to your chest, and then it'll definitely shallow out on the sandbar itself to where the water is around your knees. So this seemed to be a good place for the action, more consistent over this, at least this season. Here by the island, it's been hit or miss. Yesterday I had a couple strikes here, but I did see a lot of trout in there. Really clear water, and they were hanging very low in the water, almost to the bottom. And I was able to just switch different flies, and I could just see how they were reacting to each one. And I probably switched about 5-6 different flies, and it came down to they were interested in the mop fly, they were interested in the squirmy worm. I did get a hit on the olive near deer, but I didn't have a producer. I had a producer, but, well, it broke off on, well, one of those tree fish. Anyways, I think if I had a producer, I probably would have had a better chance to get them to strike, because they seemed to be interested, but they tended not to finish the strike. They would look at it, turn away, look at it, turn away. On those occasions that I did get a hit, I just switched out the fly to something else, and it got their interest, but after that they didn't. And I did try some tandem rigs as well. Let's see, do trout bite all day? I'm not sure, but every time I've gone, I just fish and just keep fishing, and they seem to, turn off and on at times. But usually when I make a trip to the Blue, I usually just plan to just be there all day, and go for it basically. So at least the day I was there, they seemed to quit binding in the section that I was in, but I kept seeing other folks getting consistent hits, especially those are the ones that were by the sandbar. All right. Let me get back to the other question, or the question Axel had asked about with different places. So this is the low water crossing, use crossing. That typically is where I'll start the day. Other times I'll either go upriver or I'll go downriver. Upriver, at least this season, you'll see where I've gone to Desperado Springs is what it's called. So this section up here, and I've walked the barrels. So here's the use crossing. Come over here. You'll make a left at where the where the road forks, and you'll come up a hill, fairly steep, and you park in this parking area. And you can walk the barrels and see what's happening there. It seems like barrel number 5 and the boulders seem to be doing better for me, but I did notice some folks fishing in this area by barrel 1. Actually, it's this area right here by barrel 0 is where I saw some folks catching some fish when I went up there the other day. And I believe it's been consistent there. The other thing is you can go to the other campground area, which is, instead of going left on where the road forks, go right, and you can work this area here. Here, I haven't gone there this season, but as you come in and park, you can see there's different runs and waterfalls and whatnot. And what I've noticed in the past, I'll tend to, let's see if I can see it. You can't see it too well, but I'll come in through here, just above this waterfall, and work my way along these rocks and start working this section, as well as this section over here where there's another waterfall, and usually do pretty good. But I haven't gone this season, right? And then the other thing is you can go downriver from the low water crossing. You'll see how it bends, and as you drive along here, depending on how busy things are, you may be able to get there to a parking spot or not, or at least an area where you can park and start fishing. But any one of these areas is a good opportunity to try where the waterfalls are. Okay. When you do fish these, tend to fish the deeper section first, and then kind of work your way down. And then back over here, this was always a pretty one. If you can get this campground too, you get to overlook the water and everything. So this area here tends to have some good trout numbers producing. And then I fish back down in here all the way to the end where you do a turnaround, and right here and here along these rocks I've fished in that area and have gotten trout. So the trout are there. Rule of thumb, get your polarized glasses and look for some activity. If you do see the fish, then go for it. If you don't, probably skip it and move on. All right. So those are the areas. I think that answered the question. Did anyone have any more questions? I hope this answered what Axel, what you were looking for. All right. And let me just check another thing in case there was another question in here. Yeah. Okay. All right. With that, anyone have any other questions? Else I'll go ahead and shut this live stream down. And if you have any more questions that you can think of afterwards, definitely post in the comments. I monitor them and I try to answer all of them. So do reach out, and if I can, I'll do one of these live streams. If not, I'll answer your question or suggest a time. All right, and then again, shout out Axel. Thanks for the question. And then to Steve and Batal, thank you. Oh, question just come in. Which producer fly is it? The bait fish or the nymph thing? It's the bait fish one. Let me see if I can get a picture of it. Let's see. Let's see. I think it's in Facebook is where I see it typically. Facebook. And in fact, the image who came up with that pattern is going to be there this, I believe, this Saturday. And it's going to be just a little meet and greet. He's a guide in New Mexico now, but he's from the area. And he's the one that came up with the producer fly, as well as several other good flies that good patterns, because he's fished that area all his life, and he does share the information. So let's see. What I'm doing is I'm going on to Facebook, Scotty's Blue River One Stop, and I'm just taking a look at their post, and I think I should be able to get you a view of that picture of a producer. Okay. All right, I'm just flipping to, oh, there it is. I see it now. Okay. See if I can share my screen somehow. Okay. Oh, I know. Okay. So bear with me. I'm going to capture this picture. All right. And let's see. Nope, it didn't show. Windows capture. Okay. All right, there it is. Let me fix it real quick. There, that's the producer. Okay, which producer fly is it? The bait fish or the nymph thing? So it's the bait fish. All right. And there's some key things to take away from this fly is I think it has a way of it has some kind of, I guess, coloring or something with the material that gives it more of a lively look. I've tried tying them myself, and they don't produce as the ones that I purchase over there at Scotty's. That Zach Flat is his name, who made them. All right. Let's see. Any more questions? There may be a delay too, so I'll give it like another minute or so, and then we'll shut the live stream down. And let me see if I can add something here. Okay, bear with me. What I'm doing is just to let you see how the questions are coming in. So I'm going to add this to the window here. Okay. Let's see. Come on. It's not showing. Interesting. Huh. Okay, bear with me. Let's try something different here. All right, I'm going to pop out the chat. There we go. And then I think there's a way for me to bring that one in. So I'm still learning this live stream stuff. It's pretty handy when you get it right. Okay, let's add another Windows capture. Okay, and I think I got it. Okay, yeah, I think I got it. All right, let me make this bigger. All right, so this is a basically impromptu live stream, and more of a Q&A to answer Axel's question. The initial question was, I'll just grab it right here. The initial question was related to spinning gear setup and some suggested places to fish for that. Provided that. And then there was a question concerning what flies should I try tomorrow. Is there anything I should tie today? The woolly bugger or an olive near deer. The mop flies are always good to have. Additionally, stop at Scotty's. That producer is one that is recommended. Do you recommend super dupers from Steve Book? Yes, I do. Also do recommend having the different colors, as well as the gold, gold, silver, the copper, as well as rainbow trout and black. And one of those colors is going to be hitting. Additionally, inline spinners, be it rooster tails and whatnot, those are always good to have. And then again, stop at Scotty's to see what is good for you, or what's good, or at least being what is good for that given day. Is there a best day of the week to fish? Not really, but the day of, if not the day after, trout are stocked is usually really good. So I would say that would be the best day. Do trout bite all day? I think they do. They're just in different sections of the river that may be biting, but at times they will tend to turn off. At least that's what I saw this past Sunday. But when I was fishing one section, I did see other folks continue to catch fish. So may have just been my mojo was off, and I needed to get the right pattern. Which producer fly is it? The bait fish or the nymph thing? It's the and it's from Vital. It's the bait fish one. And then heads up, the originator of that fishing fly, Zach Flat, is going to be at Scotty's Blue River One Stop. Let's see, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for a meet and greet. I think it's coming up Saturday. Anyways, go check out Scotty's Blue River One Stop on Facebook. There's a bunch of information there. Also, if you're on Facebook, follow the Blue River Public Hunting and Fishing page. They will post when they stock for a given week. Sometimes there's some double stockings, so it's kind of good to just kind of follow what's happening there. And then let's see, I think I answered everything. So yeah, okay, all right. So with that, let's go ahead and close this session out. If anyone does have any follow-up questions, put it in the comments, and I'll definitely read them and hopefully get you an answer. If not, maybe reach out to other folks who may be able to answer your question. Other than that, appreciate the call out and y'all joining today. And special thanks to Axel for your